And today we have Eve Christensen, our Assistant Director of Campus Life. Eve is proud to have a Bachelor of Arts in English Writing and German from Luther College and a Master of Arts in Leadership in Student Affairs from the University of St. Thomas. We keep taking people from St. Thomas. Winning them over. She considers herself fortunate to mentor, learn from, and celebrate students across every part of their journey here at Augsburg. Her personal story is informed by an interest in empowering those around her and helping students uncover their unique inclinations that drive them toward a life of fulfillment and joy. Thank you for being willing to do the first one of the year, Eve. Appreciate it. And let's welcome Eve Christensen.
Thanks so much, Jeremy, and thank you, Professor Bergman, for your beautiful music. Hello, everyone. My name is Eve Christensen. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and as Jeremy mentioned, I serve as the Assistant Director of Campus Life. Several weeks ago, in that liminal August space, before the school year hit, and before the last gasp of orientation and Augie days, I had a dear student walk into my office just to chat. Now, of course, I drop everything when there's a need or urgent matter to discuss, but chatting often requires boundaries. On this day, I couldn't help myself but invite them in, not only to distract myself from tasks to complete, but there's always something to learn from our students. And as a lifelong learner, I welcome those chats. Right before they left, I commented on how deep our conversation went. We talked about the impact of AI in academia, their work in volunteering for a community health service, and self-care amidst their busy schedule. We chatted for about 45 minutes. The student responded, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you're a black hole in the best sense. When students start talking to you, their walls come down and they get sucked into your office for a long time." This comment really threw me for a loop, but after I laughed and gave a confused thank you, it made me stop to think, what about this work gives me the energy that I have searched for, and what is it about my own path that has given me the gift of connection? When Jeremy emailed me to fill out the form for the How We Thrive talk, I was perhaps more eager than some to request a spot. Something I value greatly about the work that we do in higher education is sharing stories, learning about others, and uncovering journeys. Part of that love comes from learning to value my own path for what it has already shown me and for what I have not discovered yet. Let's be real, there is much yet to discover, but my choice to work in campus life in a highly student-facing role allows me to uncover more every day through those meaningful conversations with students. I grew up in rural Minnesota, about 2 hours north of Minneapolis, near Mille Lacs Lake, and I went to a small high school with a graduating class of 40 students. I was a timid and self-conscious kid, never feeling like I fit in anywhere or with anyone in particular. As an undergraduate, I attended Luther College, a small ELCA liberal arts institution in Northeast Iowa. I double majored in German and English with a writing emphasis. I was not someone who took on leadership positions in undergrad. I did not see myself as a leader, as many of my peers were from the big Twin Cities and had cultivated a confidence beyond my perceived capabilities. For the most part, I did not have someone to encourage me to make a larger commitment beyond my studies. But the last months of my senior year were a bit different. In between working overnights at the historic hotel in town, cramming in my senior nonfiction writing project, and trying my best to maintain a social life before graduation, I received an email from one of my German professors, Dr. Ruth Katt, asking me if I had any plans between the coming August and February of the following year. She had initiated a partnership in Düsseldorf with the corporation Henkel and was wondering if I would be the guinea pig for this new internship program abroad. Of course I had no plans, and of course I would love to. Where can I sign up? This outreach from Dr. Kott was a complete shock to me. I didn't even think my German skills would make me cut out for such an opportunity. How had she noticed me, and why was I the person she reached out to? What did I do to deserve this opportunity? Ultimately, those 6 months turned into a year. I met someone I now call my spouse, and I extended my visa as long as possible before returning home. August of 2014 to September of 2015 was a year of pivotal moments and an era that became the foundation for my current life as my partner moved here in 2018 and we now live in a happy little home in St. Paul. In the following several years, I worked in for-profit higher education at a couple of different institutions in the Twin Cities. This wasn't a good fit because while I love to chat with students and learn more about them, that behavior did not benefit the bottom line. I finally went on to complete my master's degree in leadership and student affairs, which led me to Augsburg as a graduate assistant and now as a full-time staff member. The feeling of being unworthy, or that crushing sense of imposter syndrome, is something I speak with students about on a regular basis. Can I really do this? Is this too much for me to handle? What will my peers think? How can I fit in with all these other amazing student leaders? The privileges that I carry with me did not compel me to lead, and my story is so much different than many of our student stories. Breaking down the imposter syndrome starts with intentional listening, not to respond or even encourage, but to hear and understand. Perhaps if I had been heard in the process of discovering myself at that age, I might have seen myself differently. But I remind myself that Dr. Kott was listening when I didn't know it and saw that I desperately needed something special to jumpstart my life after college. My own sense of belonging and confidence as a leader has grown since then, but I'm also better at pretending that those thoughts of imposter syndrome don't continue to seep out around the edges. What invites me to interrogate those thoughts are the stories of our students. The way that I feel belonging is to help others feel that they belong and that they are deserving. When an opportunity presents itself, I would rather find a student who is hesitant to pursue something on their own. When I sit and listen with intention to our students, noticing details, mannerisms, nuances of worry, sadness, excitement, and joy, I'm so incredibly grateful. To be in a role where I'm offered the chance to exchange ideas with the brightest, funniest, and most driven folks I've ever met is something that I hope to never take for granted. The gift of those stories burns bright in my heart as a reminder that I can be the bridge, not only to a new opportunity, but to a new way of how that student thinks of themselves. Listening to and deeply valuing a story is not only a meaningful moment, but it can be life-changing. If there's one thing I can learn from reflecting on my own story, it's that deep connection is the most important way I can fill my own cup. While becoming a black hole has meant a lot of time spent exchanging thoughts, ideas, hopes, and dreams, or even just chatting, it's also given me the privilege of becoming the noticer, like Dr. Kott, who was my champion. Now, I was not going to have a poem printed in the program today, but last minute I remembered one that I wanted to read, and I'd love to read it aloud. That's the English major in me. So I'm going to conclude with a poem by Kaylin Haught called God Says Yes to Me. I asked God if it was okay to be melodramatic, and she said yes. I asked her if it was okay to be short, and she said, it sure is. I asked her if I could wear nail polish or not wear nail polish, and she said, honey, she calls me that sometimes. She said, you can do just exactly what you want to do. Thanks, God, I said. And is it even okay if I don't paragraph my letters? Sweet cakes, God said. Who knows where she picked that up? What I'm telling you is yes, yes, yes. Thank you.